Well, hello everybody. We're in the year 2021. So hopefully everybody had a good holiday. And welcome to another episode of Natural Lessons with me, Naturalist James Anderson. Today's topic is about dieting in nature. So I call this part one because we could go on and on about all the unique diets that animals do. So this is kind of the basics or the fundamentals of dieting in nature. So for us adults or those who are in middle school and high school, you definitely learn the words like carnivore, herbivore, and all that. So for my elementary age students, if you're watching this, hopefully this is either a refresher or something new. And I'm definitely going to be throwing a lot of weird words or different diets that I didn't even know exist until I start really researching about dieting in nature. And also too, we'll be looking at some of my skull collection and kind of be looking at some of the different skull structures and how that kind of correlates with some of the animals' diets or some of their behavior when it comes to what food are they going to eat. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. So let's start with the basics. The three that we hear in textbooks or from our teachers or wherever. So first one is carnivore. Carnivores are creatures that only eat meats. Next, we have herbivores, which are animals that only eat plants. And then we have the mixture of animals that eat both plants and animals are called omnivores. So now we're going to talk about specialized carnivore diets.
Now before I go on, I do want to mention there are a lot of different specialized diet types when it comes to carnivores and herbivores. So we're not going to go over every one of them. This video would probably take quite a bit of time, but we definitely will talk about some special ones. Some of you may have heard of, some of you might think, well, I've never heard of that term before. So enjoy.
First, we have our insectivores. Insectivores are organisms that eat primarily an insect-based diet. A great examples of insectivores in the state of Ohio are bats. Also, too, moles and shrews can be insectivores as well. Molluscivores are carnivorous organisms that specialize in feeding on mollusks. And if you're not sure about mollusks, they are a particular group of organisms that, even though they all look very different, they do share similar characteristics, but mollusks include snails and slugs, clams, octopuses, and squids. Some of our examples of molluscivores are firefly larvae, some arthropods including crabs, and here in Marion County, some examples would be shorebirds. They love eating clams on the edges of lakes, ponds, and wetlands. Up next, we have our piscivores. Piscivores are carnivores that eat primarily fish. Some great examples are ospreys, water snakes, and pelicans when they visit us, especially in the Big Island wildlife area. For our last example of specialized carnivorous diet types are fomirivores. These are organisms that eat primarily worms. A great example of that here in Marion County are salamanders. And there are a lot of different kind of salamander species that you can find throughout the state of Ohio.
Next, we're going to talk about specialized herbivore diets.
So our first specialized herbivore diet type is nectarivores. Nectarivores are organisms which get their energy and nutrient requirements from a diet consisting mainly or exclusively of sugar-rich nectar produced by flowering plants. Great examples of nectarivores here in Marion County are hummingbirds, moths, and butterfly species. Now, one thing to note for hummingbirds, nectar is not all of their diet. They do eat some insect species in order to get protein, but when it comes to butterflies and moths, most of their diet is nectar. We have is frugivores, which are organisms that primarily eat raw fruits, vegetables, root shoots, nuts, and seeds. Now, some examples of frugivores are primates, especially our smaller primate species. They believe about 20% of our mammalians are frugivores. Next, we have our granivores, which are organisms that their diets mainly consist of seeds or grains. Some great examples of granivores here in Marion County are finches, sparrows, and rodents, such as mice and voles. And for our last specialized herbivore diet type is folivores. And folivores are organisms that specialize in eating leaves. So some examples of folivores are elephants, sloths, and koala bears. If you kind of remember koala bears, they only eat eucalyptus leaves, and that is the only thing in their diet.
So now we're going to talk about the skull portion of this program. So we're going to be looking at some different skulls, and we're really going to be investigating when it comes to teeth and diets and maybe some other structures as well. So now we're going to be talking about the herbivore section. And as you look at this skull, this is a mule skull, so something we could find on a farm. As you see those really, really big teeth here in the back, the molars. So these are the teeth that are going to be designed for chewing and grinding that food such as grass or hay. So here I'll kind of take it apart so you can kind of get a better look. But as you can see, again, very flat, more square, rectangular shape. Really, again, well designed for chewing. And then, of course, they have those very front teeth or incisor teeth, kind of like you and I, for help grabbing on to that grass so they can put it back into these molar teeth. So now we'll talk about some of the wildlife skulls. I'll move that out of the way. So here's just a white-tailed deer. So we'll put it under. And as you can see, those teeth are flat. Now I know they do look a little pointy, but overall, as they get older, they do get nice and flat. But again, really well designed for chewing up vegetation. And then when we're talking about vegetation with those animals, of course, again, we're talking about the soft vegetation, or again, such as grass and things like that, or flowers. But then what about animals, herbivores like this? Might know who he is. We have some at Marion's Harvest Trail. Yes, this is a beaver. So you're going to really notice his really large orange teeth. So again, those are incisors as well. But since he is a rodent, that is well designed for chewing on that wood, that woody vegetation, which is very, very hard. But kind of like the mule, they'll kind of use those front teeth for grasping and then put it back here. And I know there's only a couple left. That's the problem with skulls. They're great and everything, but teeth do disappear. But then they can go back in here and grind them up. And kind of the same thing with this. This is a cottontail rabbit. Again, same thing. Has, again, those nice little incisors. Again, we flip it over and then see those nice flat teeth. So again, that is a great characteristic for herbivores when it comes to skull structure. But actually, one more thing I wanted to add before I forgot. Kind of what we're talking about with some of our larger herbivores. As you can see, the jaw is very wide, very massive. So that's really well designed for using those strong jaw muscles to crunch and crunch on that grass. Because having a mouthful of grass, it could make your mouth pretty sore. So definitely having those extra muscles on there could definitely help these guys out. The next set of skulls I wanted to show you are carnivores. So remember we talked about those are animals that only eat meat. So I have here is a coyote skull, and as you can see, lot of sharp teeth. And when we talked about herbivores, remember they have those flat rectangular teeth, but this guy, as you look here, has more triangular shaped teeth, so great for tearing apart flesh. Now, yes, they do have a little flat teeth in the back, but that's overall for, again, help chewing up food. But as you see, these large teeth, those are the canine teeth, and that's really designed for killing prey. So as this coyote's trying to chase down a squirrel or a rabbit, it's going to use those large canines to get down into that jugular or throat region to kind of hold down that prey, and obviously it will consume its prey. So I also have another carnivore as well. He's a tiny little guy, but here is a mink, very common here in Marion County. So again, as we look under here, I know it's kind of hard to see, but see again all those very sharp little pointy teeth, again really well designed for tearing apart meat or flesh. Lastly, we're going to talk about is omnivore. So we just looked at a herbivore skull, what do their teeth kind of look like? We looked at carnivores and what their teeth kind of look like. But whenever we talk about omnivores, omnivores are animals that eat both plants and meat. So you're probably wondering, well, what do their skull look like? What's the teeth look like? Well, kind of both. As we talked about carnivores having sharp teeth and then the herbivores having flat. As you see this guy, that's kind of hard to see. This might be a little bit easier. Again, we got these nice sharp premolars here. Again, great for tearing apart flesh, but then we got these nice flat teeth here in the back. Great for chewing up vegetation. Also, I know it's kind of missing, but those are the canine teeth. If this is a raccoon, so would be well designed to capture things like crayfish, snakes, frogs, and of course they do eat, of course, people's trash, and they may eat berries, so things like that. So I also have another omnivore skull, and it is partially broken, so I do apologize, but this is an opossum skull. Also, again, very common in Marion County. But if I had the both bottom and the top jaw, you will see all these wicked teeth. An opossum has the most teeth of any North American mammal. They actually have 50 teeth. But as you can see, at least what I have here, I mean, we got a lot of sharp teeth in the front, again, flat teeth in the back. And that's probably why raccoons and opossums are adaptable in city environments, urban environments, because not only can they eat meat, but they also can eat plants and then also eat a lot of the other fast things. So teeth are very important, for animals.
Well, that concludes our episode. I hope you learned something new. I hope that you guys learned some of the fundamentals of dieting in nature. I definitely learned something new by creating this natural lessons episode about some of the different unique diet types that are out there. You never know what you can find. You just gotta research it. And I hope you also learned by looking at some of the different skull structures, by looking at their teeth, we can get an overall idea that what animals will eat or their diet types. Well, have fun. Be safe. Most of all, go out and explore your Marion County parks. I'm Naturalist James Anderson, and I'll see you all next time on Natural Lessons with me, Naturalist James Anderson. Bye, everybody.